Hey, Pistons fans, what's going on? And welcome to another edition of Pistons Daily. I am your host, Tony Nash, and it is game day, baby. And we are going to play Boston tonight to try to go for 14 straight. And can we do it? What do you guys think? Can we go for 14 straight? I know everybody believes that we can, but is it going to happen tonight? We've had two teams that have gone 13 straight. The 90-91 team and the 03-04 team. And, of course, we know what happened with those teams. They both won the NBA championship. So, as we talked about yesterday, is that lucky number 13 mean that this is a team of destiny? Who knows? It's still too early to tell, but I'm excited about it tonight. Is we're going for 14 straight up against the Boston Celtics. So, what's it going to take for us to get that done tonight? Certainly, Boston is going to come in. Certainly Boston is going to play hard, as they always do. It's always a tough game. And the game against the Pacers, we got the win, but it was really ugly at times. And I think what we're going to start to see is as teams start to take the Pistons more and more seriously, we're going to see games are going to get tougher and tougher. And again, I don't think there's such a thing as an easy win in the NBA. And so every game's going to be tough. I love how our guys are playing. Every game matters. But each game, I think, is just going to get tougher and tougher, regardless of who we're playing against. Cade was quoted last night after the game. He was saying that he was not satisfied. He said, "We just want to be we just want to be our best version of ourselves, and tonight was just not that." And I'm not happy about that. So Cade recognized that the game against the Pacers was not it. It was not their best performance. There was moments where the defense looked bad. We just kind of got into these lulls. Ball movement looked bad. Shot selection looked bad. Free throw shooting looked bad. Committing stupid fouls. And, of course, those things are going to happen over the course of a season. This is why sometimes it's nice to have some different options to go to on the bench. But also, going to the bench so much, I think, is becoming a factor in our lack of chemistry at times. It was funny. Asar last night was quoted after the game. He was talking about how many wins, and he lost track. He had to ask, how many wins do we actually have now? Because they've lost track because they've won so many games this year. They've won 15 games already, which is more than we won 2 seasons ago. And so it's just cool to see this happening. I mean, I had, again, high hopes going into our season. Didn't expect that it was going to be like this. We kind of got off to a little bit of a rocky start. And then, of course, with the news about Jaden Ivey, we just, weren't sure. But to see what we've done so far has been great. But Boston tonight is going to be a tough game. They're still missing Tatum, of course, but they have a 9-8 record. They've actually beat the Raptors. They've beat the Cavs. They beat the Sixers, and they've beat the Magic. So they've beat some of the top teams in the East. And they've been in a lot of games. I mean, they really haven't gotten blown out much. Most games, they're in the game, and they're just kind of losing these close ones. That kind of sounds familiar, does it not, Pistons fans? And so they're not a team to be taken lightly, certainly not an easy win. Again, to me, no easy wins in the NBA, but this one will not be an exception. It will not be easy, regardless of injuries. Boston is going to be a tough game. The last time we played them, we beat them by 6, 119-113. So I'm hoping our Detroit Pistons show up tomorrow. Maybe that close call at the end was a little shakeup that we needed to kind of get everybody back on board of taking every possession seriously. No possessions off. 14 would be awesome. At the end of the day, all that really matters is our standings at the top, where it puts us in playoff position, and we're a long ways from that. But I talked about this yesterday. I mean, our next 10 games, we got Boston, Orlando, Miami, Milwaukee, Dallas, Charlotte, Portland, Sacramento, Utah, and the Clippers. And most of those are sub-500 teams other than Orlando and Miami. And so we could have some, again, no easy wins, but we could very plausibly have 23, 24 in a row. It would be 23 in a row before we come up against the Lakers on December 30th. So let me know your thoughts. How many are we going to go for? I'm still rooting for our 28 straight. I think that would be amazing to avenge that season we had a couple years ago. That is a very tall drink of water, tall order. So not sure that we could do it, but I'd love to see it. And I'd love to hear from you on what do you think? What's it going to take to beat the Boston Celtics tonight? And how many do you predict that we're going to win before we finally experience our first loss in a while? I wanted to, I don't know if you saw Yahoo Sports put out an article about Malik Beasley said that he could still be facing disciplinary action from the NBA. So he's been cleared, but apparently the investigation is still going on. And even if he signs with a team, he could still be seeing some disciplinary action from the league. He could be subject to that. So depending on what they find. So apparently they're still looking for some things. I think with all this latest stuff that's come out with what I'm calling the controversy and all of the things, I think it's made them tighten it up even more. It seems to be taking forever before they can clear him, but they're going to continue to do their homework to make sure that he is innocent. And again, there could be nothing. And what a tragedy it would be if they found there was absolutely nothing to it and he lost out on all that money and has been sitting out all this season. There are still multiple teams interested in Beasley if he is cleared. The Nets have expressed interest, the Pacers, and of course the Pistons. And if you follow Malik Beasley like I do, you see that he's living in Detroit. He's working out in Detroit every day at Detroit Mercy. He's trying to stay fresh, trying to stay ready. He's posting when the Pistons win. He's posting videos of him watching the game. So he's very much locked into the Pistons. And he wants to be here in Detroit. He said if he does sign, he's going to sign with the Pistons. So my hope is still that he gets cleared, that we sign him this year yet. But again, that's going to take us to our rotation issues, which I kind of want to talk about now. There's still some work to be done with this team. Again, incredible start. This is in no way a complaint about our squad and what we're doing. Our coaching staff is doing a great job. Our players are stepping up. We've had 10 guys score 20-plus points this year. Next man up mentality. I am very thoroughly happy with our team, but that doesn't mean there's not still work to be done. And so, going into Beasley coming back, I kind of want to start by talking again about the rotation. I've talked about this a lot the last few days, but you saw against the Pacers, we actually were in a 11-man. We did an 11-man rotation from 12 the game before. So maybe that means we're going to start working it down to maybe a 9 or 10-man rotation is what I would rather see. But you're still seeing guys like Dennis Jenkins only got 5 minutes. Ron Holland and Javonte Green only had 11 minutes. That's not enough for those guys, in my opinion. Of course, LeVert had a game, and so they gave him more minutes than normal. And then you got Jaden Ivey working his way back in, which I assume he will become a starter here very soon as he gets more comfortable. So just more guys to work into the rotation. So I'm curious to know from you, what do we do about this rotation? I shared with you, if you want to see that, it was 2 days ago, there was an episode where I talked about what I would like to see for our 10-man rotation. Primarily, I would love to see our starting lineup be Cade, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, and Isaiah Stewart. I'd love to see our boy Tobias being willing to come off the bench. He can create his own offense. He hits some shots at timely, and I think if he was leading that second unit, he would get more touches, get more looks, and I think that might be good. And, of course, when Stewart and Duren are on the court together, they're a plus 25, and they're stopping people at the rim and in the paint. So, I think the rotation is an issue. There are moments of our team where you just see lazy defense. We get lackadaisical. We get up by 10, 15, 20, 30 points. And then inevitably we seem to let these teams kind of creep back in. Again, this is the NBA, and so teams can get hot. These players are all phenomenal players, and anyone can get hot on a given night and have a great game and come in and change the tone of the game. But there are moments where the Pistons play some lazy defense. Certainly with specific rotations, you start to see that more. So I think there's room to improve playing that defense while you're on the court, especially if you're getting limited minutes. Again, going back to the rotation, I think when you're coming in and out of the game for little short stints, it's really hard to get a rhythm. It's hard to get your legs under you. So another reason why we got to fix this rotation issue is because I think it's taken some of our guys out of rhythm with the short stints. I think there, again, opportunity with the lineups. I think our fouling has gotten a lot better, but we're still fouling too much, in my opinion. Again, the bad boys were known for fouling a lot. The go-to-work Pistons in 2004 were known for that. So I think this team, with the type of defense they're playing, we're going to get a lot of fouls, but there's still a lot of work to clean that up there. And then our free throw percentage, very inconsistent. I think there's opportunity there to add another 5 to 10 points per game if we can just get more consistent with our free throw shooting. and our three-point shooting. It has been up and down. Of course, Duncan has been shooting the laces off the ball, the leather off the ball, I should say. There's no laces on a basketball, but last night he struggled, and there really wasn't a whole lot of other guys to step up. Karis LeVert had 3. I think Isaiah Stewart had 1 or 2. There was a few guys that hit him. Jaden Ivey hit a couple, but three-point shooting could definitely improve. And as you've seen, because of the improvement in Jalen Duren, these teams are starting to pack the paint, recognizing we don't have a lot of outside shooters. They're packing the paint, which means it makes it a lot harder to get Jalen Duren the ball in the paint. You've noticed we haven't been able to successfully pull off a lot of lobs to Duren recently. At the beginning of the season, it seemed like we were getting 3 or 4 of those a game. These teams are adjusting. They're packing the paint, which forces us to have to hit some outside shots. And unless we can start to hit outside shots consistently, that's what teams are going to do. They're going to pack the paint or even maybe play some tight zone on us and force us to shoot outside. And so that's where a guy like Beasley would really come in handy to keep spreading that floor. And, it's better when Duncan's in the court. He does spread the floor a little bit. And a few other guys are starting to get that. I think that's what Stewart does for us because he's a threat from the outside, and he kind of spreads the floor, pulls a big man out. So I think there's some opportunity there, and it's an adjustment we have to make. Again, would love to see us get down to a 9 or 10 man rotation. So, what are your thoughts on these things? Do we need where do you see the team could continue to improve and get better? What are the things that you see are going to make us more consistent and just continuing to win games? And as we get closer and closer to the new year, and then you get to the All-Star break, and then you get to the trade deadline, what happens then? And, of course, it seems like every single day I open up my phone and I'm hearing another Pistons trade rumor, and I'm getting tired of it. I think our team is doing great. I'm getting tired of hearing about these trade rumors. And the latest one I'm hearing is Zach LaVine to the Pistons. Now, this is not the first time we've heard this. Actually, we've been hearing about this for a couple years as the Pistons have shown interest in him. And, Zach LaVine has always played really well against Detroit. He's actually had some really big games against the Pistons. But I'm going to say again, I don't think that we, meaning our front office, should be seriously considering any trade rumors right now. It's too early. There's a lot of the story still untold. We got to let these guys develop and see how things play out with Jaden Ivey and with some of these young guys like Dennis Jenkins and Paul Reed, and even a guy like Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson. If he starts to come off the bench, some of these things are going to really start to come to fruition and let us know where we're really, really at. And you never know what injuries could happen. An injury could dictate maybe a move that we might make. And so I just think it's not something we should be thinking about right now, but everybody's talking about the Pistons. And so, of course, people want to see a big name come to Detroit. They want to see a marquee player. And I think it's more from people outside of Michigan than it is Detroit fans. I think we're pretty happy with our crew. But this one is not the worst one that I've heard, actually. This one isn't terrible. Zach LaVine this year is averaging 21.4 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He's shooting 50% from the field, 40% from 3. So he's putting up good numbers. Obviously, having another consistent scorer is never a bad thing. He seems to be a pretty competent defensive player. But here's what the trade looks like. It would be Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert, Bobby Klintman, and 2 to 3 picks. It didn't really clarify how many for Zach LaVine. And so I love Uncle Toby, but I think this trade actually isn't horrible. It's not the worst thing I've heard. I want to hear what you have to say. Does Zach LaVine fit with the style of the Pistons? He likes to run. Obviously, he can jump out of the gym. He's a great shooter, very athletic, probably a top 20, 25 player in the NBA. Very, very good player if he can stay healthy. And so, does he fit? The other thing is, you give up 2 spots in the rotation, meaning Tobias and LeVert, and you're replacing it with 1, which could solve some of our rotation issues. But again, I love the veteran presence that Toby brings to the Pistons. I love his history in Detroit. I love that he wants to be in Detroit and he loves the Pistons. So I don't know. Even though the trade proposal doesn't sound awful to me, it's still not something that I think we should consider right now. But what do you think? Is this something that the Pistons should legitimately legitimately entertain, or is this just another stupid trade rumor? I've seen some of you have asked in the comments, why are you talking about trade rumors so much? Well, if you're paying attention, everybody's talking about trade rumors, and so I want to get our voices out there. I want the Pistons or the people at the top, the chance that they may hear this and say, all right, this is what people are saying. I want them to hear from you. I want you to leave in the comments what you think about these trade rumors, to let them know, like, hey, we're happy with our squad. We like our guys. We're patient. We've been waiting a long time. We're willing to wait more to see how this plays out. Let's not sell the farm for a big name when we're still not sure what we got here. We don't want to break up the chemistry. The only other thing I don't like about it is if you bring in a guy like Zach LaVine, that keeps Isaiah Stewart on the bench. And I just think I would like to see Isaiah work his way into that starting lineup at some point. I think that would be formidable. It would be a young core, and I think it would be very, very tough to beat with the right bench behind them. So what are your thoughts? Does tonight mean 14 straight? What do we think about Beasley? Has anybody heard anything else? Let me know if you've heard anything. If you've seen him around Detroit, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts are about how we can improve. And do you think Zach LaVine is a good fit for the Pistons? Are these trade rumors worth talking about? Is he worth considering? What do you think about the proposed trade? I'd love to hear from you. Remember, we are on our road to 2,500 subscribers right now, so if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time we drop fresh content. And we want to hear from you guys. I've been enjoying the comments, and I'm interacting in the comments. So if you're writing in there, I'm reading those each day, and I'm interacting as much as I can. I love hearing from you guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you welcoming me as the new host, and I'm looking forward to seeing our season and how it's going to go. But game day tonight, let's get a big win. And as always, Detroit basketball, baby. Let's go.